What's up, everybody? Long time no video. Been a little sick and such like that, but I saw two stories this week. Well, a few stories that really highlights the importance of um, exposing some of the people that exhibit toxic behavior on the internet before they can actually cause real world harm. First, there was these two security officers who worked for a company in Columbus. Now, the story is a little confusing because they don't put out all the details. It's two guys, right? Originally, it was this guy who was arrested after posting threats on Telegram. Luckily, somebody had the good sense to turn him into the police. But they were basically making threats, Fed posting, whatever. What's the difference between Fed posting and threats? That's what I want to know. Because effectively, they're the same thing. I guess the difference would be the intent or the identity of the person doing it. Like the exact same thing posted by a Fed, that's Fed posting. But if it's posted by somebody who's actually has real intent, then it's not Fed posting. So there's essentially no difference because you don't know the identity of the person. But basically, he worked as a fucking security guard and he was at a school talking about shooting it up, which is extremely fucked up. But somebody had the good sense to turn him in, so they might have prevented a tragedy. We got to wait for the details on that to come out. But what if somebody didn't turn him in? Then we wouldn't have an investigation. Maybe nothing would have happened. Maybe a tragedy would have happened. See, you don't know when people make these threats. So that's why I say there's value in exposing these people so they can be evaluated. Because you don't know on the internet. Like somebody could be Fed posting. Um, Somebody could be giving intimations as to the fact that they're going to carry out an attack. Like most of these attackers do, they do leave some type of a hint. But then it's like, is it real? Was it just somebody spurting on the internet? I say unmask them and let the community and the police figure it out. Um, Even if people are taking place in, like the GDL, if they're going around handing out pamphlets or taking place in public displays, people such as this, there's a higher likelihood they're going to engage in threatening, problematic behavior. So you're perfectly within your rights to let other people know about them, who they are, etc., so they can be aware. They can do their own due diligence. I know this is frowned upon by some people, but hey, maybe you shouldn't be on the internet threatening people and shit, and then people wouldn't have to do that. Let's see here. I can hear my voice from the sickness. It's like an octave deeper. So weird, man. He's talking about shooting up a playground, children, and then the parents that responded to him. Really dark, like ISIS level attack, Al Qaeda level attack type shit, almost. And then there was this other security guard that this is weirder. He wanted to fly a plane into a Budweiser plant. That would seem like a little fantastical, unless the guy's a pilot or something. Like if he's a pilot and he has a plane, like okay, that sounds like it could be legit. But it's like I'm gonna fly a spaceship into something. It's like I don't know. It doesn't necessarily seem legit, but maybe if the cops arrested him for it. I thought this had something to do with the Jewish school as well, but apparently it was a Budweiser plant. So they're not just toxic; they're also, crazy. But what if somebody hadn't unmasked these guys, hadn't reported them? Who knows if there wouldn't have been another tragedy, or Columbus would have had their Budweiser capabilities knocked out. And what would the kids at Ohio State have done? Like that's a tragedy right there as well. Then there was this other guy. This was an interesting read because there's a lot of shit posters online. There's a lot of Fed posters. This guy was a fucking veteran police officer, and he wasn't young. He's 46 years old, posting all this shit online about just looks like any other shit posting account, but was posting some real edgy shit. What, the Paul Nealand helicopter dropping? I don't even know who the fuck those people are. Um, yeah, he talked about being a cop. He dropped all these fucking hints to people. Um, was posting some real edgy shit that indicated like he might actually take real life action, and he's a cop, so he obviously has access to weapons. Let's see here. Just some real dumb, edgy shit. And he left a lot of clues as to who he was, not only directly by posting, but just by being stupid and leaving a trail. There's a whole blog about this. Apparently, in the circles I run, like this, you can't do this. This is doxing. But maybe if you don't want your name getting out, don't go on the internet threatening people, right? Like that sounds like a good deal, right? You want to have your anonymity. All right. Well, don't go online and um, advocate for the ruination of other people. Like, don't advocate. Don't try to make the condition of other people worse or that they should be killed. That's a pretty easy deal, right? Like, just don't do that. And then maybe you get your safe space. But I don't think when you do stuff like this, you're entitled to a safe space. It's also not illegal as long as you're not posting like super personal information like social security ID or phone number or something like this. But this is just freedom of the press. Like you can write an expose on anybody in the whole goddamn world, right? Like somebody in your town does something, you're allowed to write about them and who they are. So that's the other side of the First Amendment that people don't like. They're like, well, I should be able to go online and write about how much I hate these people and I can't do it because my freedom of speech has been taken away. And as long as it's not illegal, I should be allowed to write about like how I want to get rid of these people. Um, anything that's legal, like, oh, okay, but this is legal too. So why can't people do this? What does he say? Anti-Semitic shit. Whatever. This is kind of boring. Dear baby Jesus, please make death camps real. Okay. That's when he starts getting into like actually advocating for shit or promoting shit. I I'm just entertaining. I'm just so entertained by these idiots. Yeah, there's the shit talking. Just wait. Just wait. The National Socialists are coming. So anyway, this guy gets fucking exposed. Like imagine you're a 46-year-old police officer in a very middle America town. Like I don't know anything about fucking Springfield, Illinois, but it seems like Springfield, Missouri. It's like a very middle America, mostly white, fucking boring town. People just go to their churches. Imagine you're living this secret life online. And then, yeah, what happens if you have a secret life Like you have a secret life, having an affair, um, with a mistress, and you're married. Totally legal, by the way, completely legal. Like, don't you have an expectation of privacy that can be busted up by your wife? Are you going to be like, oh, what about my right to privacy? And then your wife is perfectly allowed to tell the whole fucking world. It's perfectly legal for her to do that. Are you going to be like, no, I had a safe space and you violated it? It's not really the way it works. Um, it's not really like a threat. It's more just like hinting at stuff. That's just a gun. What is this? It's just posting idiotic shit that other idiots can read. Oh, this is what they always do. Our enemies are dedicated and ruthless. I'm not advocating violence in any way, but I'm unable to imagine a solution that doesn't require it. It's like I'm nonviolent. I don't want violence, but if my enemies are violent, I'm gonna have to be violent. It's just the way they justify shit. Like I don't want to hate Jews, but their hatred of me makes it inevitable. It's funny passive aggressive shit. What else did he say? I mean, we can read all this in detail, and there's a lot of shit. Like I don't know. I'll post the links to this, but the point I wanted to say is I think there's real value in exposing these motherfuckers that are actually out there advocating violence and to harm communities. And you might think it's mean or it harms. Well, yeah, what about this family? They got harmed, right? Like, isn't it fucking embarrassing to be married to this guy? Well, don't go online advocating harm to others when you're in a position where you're expected to be a moral citizen, like a police officer, where your job is to protect the public and you're out there undermining the interests of the public. Don't fucking do that. And then you won't have to deal with shit like this. It's like, yeah, the title of this is To Catch a Nazi. If you don't want to end up on the internet soliciting boys for sex, then don't go on the internet soliciting boys for sex. Like, that's a crime, but they're airing people that haven't been convicted under law, and that's allowed, right? You don't want that to happen? Don't go online looking for children to have sex. It's a pretty easy solution there, right? Uh, Now, is this woman and their kids going to be harmed? Sure. But what about the harm that these people do, visible and invisible? So it'd be nice not to have to have any harm come, but that's contingent on you not going online advocating to harm others, especially when you're in a position of authority. What else going on? So, like, you can't lock up a criminal without. That's the whole point of lockup, right? Is hey, don't go around committing crimes or you're going to have the negative experience of getting locked the fuck up, which is not only going to affect you, it's not by design, but it's going to affect your fucking family too. So you don't want harm to come to your family by being exposed as a fucking Fed posting piece of shit. Don't go online and Fed post. That seems like the solution right there. Let's see. Bunch of Twitter accounts. Oh, are these like some of the. My wife didn't know the Hansel and Gretel was about the Jews, but my boys did. What? So he's teaching this to their boy. I didn't know Hansel and Gretel was about the Jews. Might not even be true, but now I'm curious. Why don't you like Jews? Okay, that's. I was expecting to read edgy shit. This isn't like the edgy shit he said. I have metal stamp. I think I'll just stamp 1488 into every N word. I I don't know what that means. I don't know what an N quarter is. So basically, he's online talking shit about those he's expected to serve and protect. Um, but yeah, these guys that this is the Mike Enoch rationalization where he actually went on a podcast and said like First Amendment means there shouldn't be any consequences for what I say or any negative consequences. So the government needs to protect any harm from coming to me. It's like that's not what the First Amendment is. People, these idiots, they like to take the First Amendment and use it as a way to protect them from any retarded shit they say. It's like, no, it means the government can't punish you for what you say. It doesn't mean that you're protected from everyone you interact with hating your fucking guts for being a cringy motherfucker. That's not what the First Amendment is. It doesn't protect you from getting fired from your job. It doesn't protect you from your wife leaving you, your Jewish wife leaving you, your family disowning you, for you not being welcome where you live. Like, that is all freedom of association, which is also part of the First Amendment. And the First Amendment also protects freedom of the press, like this article. So it's just people picking and choosing what freedoms they want and what freedoms they don't want other people to have just to advantage themselves. These are stupid quotes. Like, I want the good quotes. And this guy's a fucking coward. Like, they came out with his expose, and it's crazy because this guy was an anon online. They put together this extensive expose. Like, they don't leave it to any chance. Like, okay, this is the fucking guy. There's no doubt, right? This is all the shit he posted. Bam. And then there's all this media, social media pressure. Like, you got to investigate this guy. There's this fucking outrage explodes online. The House of whatever you like, the House of Representatives or the fucking Illinois Senate started investigating this guy. So it's like right away, you're on paid administrative leave while we investigate this. He gets called to for an interview, interrogation, whatever you want to call it. Motherfucker resigns. Like, he doesn't defend himself. He doesn't plead innocence. He just fucking resigns and disappears. Like, what a all this Fed posty shit online, and he can't even tell his colleagues. Like, yeah, I posted what I posted because I fucking believe it. Like, what a fucking coward. That's why I believe um, calling people like this out is effective because most of the time they effectively melt away because no one's going to say this shit when they face direct consequences of what they say. Like, nobody's going to put a face to this shit except for your GDL type guys who might be emboldened by it, but they want the attention, they want the notoriety. That's part of their strategy. But I feel like exposing these people and confronting them, like I've done in various ways online, and I'm just one fucking loser on the internet. But if people did this in mass, like they did with this guy, somebody had to go and do the legwork originally. That's the best counteraction to these people, because they would do everything they like. These people, many of them wouldn't stop until there was some type of roadblock where they're like, "Oh, I'm facing resistance." Like now there could actually be some consequences for me. Like I was just on the internet talking about killing people, and it was cool when nobody knew who I was. But now that there could be some blowback, like, oh shit, man, I didn't sign up for this. And that's what's happening with this police officer. And well, he has access to guns, so he could potentially be dangerous, like anybody. But and they should definitely check him out, make sure nothing bad would happen. But despite that risk, I think confronting these people is the best way, because if you just allow them to operate in a toxic manner, they're going to do it as much as possible until they get confronted. And even when they do get confronted, many of them, like the GDL, like the real hardcore guys, they're going to keep going forward. So it's going to take more to get those guys to relent. But eventually, many of them do. Many of the hardcore activists say, like, oh man, this life is tough. Like, I need a way out. And there is danger in these guys potentially snapping because they see themselves as victims when they receive pushback for what their beliefs are. But I think it's better to call them out, to stand up to them on the whole, versus just eh, let them operate, let them fed post, let them do whatever. Like, we don't want to upset them. We don't want to trigger them. We don't want to fire up their like victim response type of thing by confronting them or calling them out. So let's just let them operate. Um, I think they'll operate until confronted. So they should be confronted in whatever manner you think is appropriate, whether it's calling them out through media articles, whether it's stream sniping and showing what they're saying, whether it's reporting their channels, whatever you think is effective, because I think it's effective, bottom line, overall. Let's see. Let's see the interesting posts. Come on. Shit. Yeah, these are the type of passive aggressive posts. I'm not a violent man, but I have a deep and wide capacity for justifiable violence. Like, why the fuck are you posting this shit online? You fucking moron. Violence works. Like, he's not even saying self defense works. I'm totally good with killing for good reason. I'm against TKK. I don't know what TKK is, but I guess he's. I'm totally. Okay, I must be stupid. I don't know what TKK is. Hmm. Blue Christmas lights. Blah blah blah. I'm supporter of as many Holocausts as it takes to cleanse. Yeah, I mean that's basically glorifying supporting violence right there. What a fucking moron. Yeah, that's basically a covert way of saying he wants violence against the Jews. So it's like motherfuckers like this deserve to be called out. Fuck them. Like they're online advocating for harm to a community and or violence, and then they're trying to say like, hey, I deserve a safe space because harm can't come of me. Sorry, motherfucker. If you're online advocating for harm, it's open season, man. Like others, then we can advocate harm against you and expose you. I mean, it's pretty fucking simple. Only a moron would dispute this. I'm a normal guy, blah blah blah. These dirty Jews will root. Yeah, yeah. And guess what happened, motherfucker? Now you're hiding because you got called out, and instead of backing up what you said, you went in fucking hiding, which is a good thing. But you're a fucking coward, so, and a fucking moron, and a fucking disgrace. So fuck off. Yeah, there's a lot of cringy posts through his history, but I guess I'm done with this. How it started. Wait, this guy is so cringe. What the fuck? He's talking about bowel movements and shit. I don't know what the fuck this means. If Uncle Sugar what I'll have decisions to make. Wait, I don't know what the fuck. But I know this guy's a fucking moron. Anyway, my point is to catch a Nazi, better to expose these people and deal with the fallout than allow them to have their safe space ecosystem online. Everyone have a good day.